With me, Dan Huddleston.
Everybody remember me from last week?
Yeah. Petra Jameson.
Regional Servicing Rep. I see you guys again.
And then I'll let these guys introduce themselves because they're actually from Local 685 at Chrysler. Go ahead.
My name's Dave Chester. I'm the financial secretary for the local. I handle all the dues money for Local 685, and I've been a member of the UAW for maybe 33 years coming up here in a month or so.
I'm Chris Stewart, UAW Local 685. I'm the vice president there, so I'm just glad to be here, glad to support you guys. Like I say, collective bargaining is a great tool. I mean, it gives you the chance to have fair wages, good benefits, and be able to have a voice, in the workplace. So, with that said, we're here for support. So anything you guys need at all, we're going to help support that. So, and then I know we've got Sean Smith. He's
Come on up, Smitty.
He's a 20 or 30 year committeeman.
I'm Sean Smith. I'm commitment at ITP. I help bring dignity to the shop floor. When my people need me, they call me. Come and running, right? We go by the book. We don't make no deals. It is what it is, right? But we bring dignity to the shop floor is what we do.
And I'd like to mention too that Matt Jarvis, the president of Local 685, wasn't able to make it today. Right. He contacted these guys, made sure you had some support here. He stands in full support of what you guys are doing, and he told me to share the message with you that if there's anything you need from 685, he'll make sure you get it. If it's people walking the picket line, if it's people, whatever you guys need, you got full support from 685. These guys are here as proof, and there's more where they come from. I'll just tell you, if you need it, there's more where they come from.
We'll flood that place.
Today, you can pick back to them. But I wanted to also introduce Andy. You want to introduce yourself?
Me? I'm Andy Keogh. The big thing I could say, for you guys, this is exciting because it brings you all together. You guys aren't it's not like, she makes $2 more or she has better health benefits, because the company will play that against you guys. They won't tell you what one person has. And it's nice to know that you guys are all, there's 40 of you guys here, and you guys all have the same thing in common. It's taking care of your family and having fair benefits, not having what Cindy has, she's getting a better deal than I am because Cindy's doing more than I am or something like that. It's everybody is equal. And then you have a guy like Sean, say you've got a problem with your boss, you call Sean down and he'll come down and he'll either, one, flip the table over, or two, just say, hey, they can do that. And it just helps you understand. It's it's a nice process because you educate yourself, with everybody here. And that's what you guys are getting right now. I mean, that. That's why you guys are doing this, is you guys are educating each other and educating yourselves.
For the record, Smitty's never flipped the table. Now, he's trashed a couple of printers, but he's never flipped the table.
Guys, for the record, I don't recommend that. All right? We got to work. You've heard that saying, you got to work smarter, right? Well, you got to kill them smarter too, because I try to kill you with kindness. In fact, you're going to respect my people. You're going to respect them, and then we get that through the union. You have the grievance procedure, right? A lot of people don't understand that grievance procedure, right? It is a procedure, and that's what we have compared to a non-union shop. That's our voice right there. You got an injustice, it's a violation of the agreement. You can grieve that, and you take that, and they can arbitrate that, and then you can flash that in the company's face, and they're not going to do a damn thing about it but follow the agreement after that. Then they know, and it happens over and over and over again. But you got to work smarter, right? And you got to know your book. You got to know your rights. If you don't know your rights, you're a weak link. Give me a call. I'll give you guys my number. I'll help you out with anything.
And that agreement that Smitty's talking about, you got to understand, these are not company rules. Because I'm sure you understand that the company, they'll make their rules up. They can change them willy-nilly. That agreement, that's legally binding. So when Smitty comes out there to argue that, he say, look, this is what the agreement says, and this is what you're going to do, or you're going to go into the grievance process and maybe to arbitration. And, when you get into arbitration, that loser pays. So, if that company's shelling out $300,000 to lose in arbitration, they're not going to make that same mistake twice.
Guys, I've been through that grievance process. I'm still working today. You guys up there. Right or wrong or indifferent, Today's society, the way it is, you know, you can't even argue without somebody being offended, right? So you got to work smarter. You got to word your words proper and
But Smitty will tell you this, right? Smitty's been doing this for 20 years. Things have changed over the 20 years. He's grown over the 20 years. He's gained experience. You guys will do that,
yes.
right? And he didn't start with the knowledge that he has today. Somebody trained him. Somebody gave him the education, gave him the tools give him the opportunity to grow into the person that he is today as a representative, right? And you guys will have that same opportunity, because that's one of the things that the UAW offers you that you get from very few other unions. The opportunity to have the education, to have the skill set to represent your people, to represent yourselves, right? This is your union, and you're going to have the people, brothers and sisters from 685, from all over, will be there to help you, right? That we take the brotherhood and sisterhood of the UAW, we take it very seriously. You can see from these gentlemen being here today, they're willing to do whatever you need, give you their personal phone number to help you, to help you be successful, right? They can't come do it for you, but they could be there as a voice. They could be there as somebody to lean on. And that's what we do. That's what we do as an organization. That's why Colleen's been here for the time that she's been here. That's why you guys have been putting in the effort that you've been putting in to try to help each other. That's what we do. That's what the UAW is all about. Every time I sit down to negotiate a contract, I tell a company, our goal is to make sure you make millions of dollars, because we want some of it. If you don't make money, we're going to have a problem at the bargaining table. So understand, we're not here to cripple you. We're here to make you a success, and we want to share in that success. We want a fair and just piece of that success, because we feel like we're the ones creating it. And there's very few companies that can argue with that.
They damn sure can't do it without you.
Absolutely.
That's where you can help negotiate your own contract, you know, and we're here to help. The international will help you guys too, as far as to make sure you get a fair and decent contract. You know, and there's a lot to that, but you know, you select your own officials, you know, your president, depending on how you guys are going to be set up, your president, vice president on down, your stewards, your shop chairs. You guys are the ones who elect those people. So, and if they're not good, then the next set around, you vote in somebody you think is going to do a better job.
Well, us three here, we're all elected. You know, we have the faith of our membership that we're going to do a good job for them, and we're subject to getting unelected. So if we don't do our job, if Smitty doesn't do his job properly, if he's not on call to take care of those needs of his membership, you know, every 3 years they vote you out. It's a brotherhood, but you guys you're the entire power of your local.
You guys are the boys. It's nice to negotiate your vacations, your PA time, your comp time out of there, your attendance, you know, your tardies, all that can be negotiated. You know, that's good for the company, it's good for you guys. You know, if you put structure in place and what's fair, you know, it gives you guys the opportunity to utilize that. So if you do have something that comes up, you can call in a PAA.
And the one thing that I really like about it is you take that supervisor's favoritism out of the equation. So he can't give you a better job or give you more money than the other guy, because you're all on a even plane. So if the supervisor doesn't like you and you use your seniority, which I'm sure you're all familiar with seniority, you sign for a job, that's your job. The supervisor can't do a damn thing about it.
Let me tell you something. You talked about a closing plan. We have a plant right now in Greencastle, Indiana that's closing. They have a collective bargaining agreement. Federal law says that if you have a collective bargaining agreement and you close a facility, within that collective bargaining agreement, you have to do what's called effects bargaining. Right? That's the law. They have to sit down with the union, they have to sit down with you and say, our decision is affecting your livelihood. We need to come up with an agreement how we can make this right for you. In some way, we're obligated to try to make it right. That's what the law says. That what effect has that had on you as a human being and your family, and it's our job to sit down and try to get them to give you some sort of settlement when they leave the facility. You don't get that if they just decide to close. There's no obligation. for them to do that at all. We've all seen places where people showed up and there were locks on the doors. So what happened? Well, they closed the plant today. It's on the news, but nobody knew, right? And those people got nothing. They get unemployment. There's nobody to sit down. There's nobody to talk to. They're not obligated to do anything. You have that obligation if the UAW is there. If you form your union, that the company would have to do that. So that's a huge
something
difference.
you can tell them when they're talking about closing the plant. Well, if they close it, at least if you were union, you have somewhere to go. You have some idea of sitting down and
That's some
negotiating
reinforcement.
your effects. And we, I negotiated some contracts out east that's what we did. And one plant ended up, they got all kinds of good things, that they never would have got if they weren't union.
Company's not gonna give you anything.
But they were in place for 60 years, and
Make no mistake.
the old man retired, so they closed the plant. It wasn't because the union came there.
Creating a future. I have over 300 years of UAW membership in my family. That's not just my dad, and my mom was in an IBEW union. They're past. I had uncles and cousins, and all of us. We're a union family, right? And it's really, I can't stress enough to you how that family was not just blood. We have people come to our house that's family, that had no blood relation to us. These brothers are my family, right? And I believe that to my core. I would do anything that these guys needed me to do because they're my UAW family. And that's the way we feel about it. We really believe it, right? And once you get into that caring enough about each other with your group, that will expand. You'll go to Black Lake, you'll meet other people, you'll have the opportunity to converse with the brothers and sisters from 685 and other locals, and you'll understand what it means to be part of something bigger than you.
I mean, there's nurses,
Right?
police, there's all kinds of
we have
opportunity to get,
we have
knowledge.
workers in all different kinds of fields, right?
Lawyers.
Teachers.
I'm a state worker. I worked for the Indiana Department of Revenue for 19 years. And then I worked for the Department of Environmental Services. So, and there I was a clerical. But we have all kinds. You guys aren't no different there. You're just workers.
Yeah, if you walk
Workers
that,
are workers.
you walk that picking line, you'll see, because I guarantee you, me and Smitty, we'll round some people up.
Yeah.
We'll probably have more people show up than you got working there.
Yeah, and he's saying that because I don't know if some of you know, but you can organize by walking out, by going on strike. You can go to your mark tomorrow and say, hey, we want to organize UAW and we want to be recognized and we're not working until then. But in order to do that, you got to have a large majority of workers, otherwise the law allows them to hire in.
Scabs.
Okay? Yeah, scabs. I'm not
Yeah,
supposed
they
to say
can
that, but-
replace you. It's
I can
called
say that.
striking for recognition.
Yeah.
We don't normally strike for recognition unless we have somewhere around 90 to 100% of the people on board, because everybody then has to really stick together, because if you don't, they bring in replacement workers,
Yeah.
and we call them scabs. They bring in people to take your jobs,
Yeah.
and you're in a really difficult spot then, right? If they can actually do your job, we're going to have a problem, and you guys are not going to have a job. So that's why we want to do it this way,
Yeah.
right? Because this is the best way to do it. It's the best way for you to do it, because that they're obligated by law to negotiate with us. If you get this vote, a yes vote, they're obligated by law. We covered this last week, right? Once you get the vote in and the vote's yes, they will get something from the director of the Department of Labor for this region that says you're now obligated by law to enter into collective bargaining with the UAW for functional devices. And that's not anything they can just say, no, we're not doing that. They have to.
I got a lot of good people. right? And you'll hear the old saying, you got 10% of the people causing 90% of the problem. Maybe that is the case, but not everybody likes to speak up. Not everybody's born to be a speaker, right? There's some of us that was born to stand up for others, and somebody's going to rise to the top, and there should be more than one. It can be done. I helped a plant over in Ohio just a few years back, right? They was non-union. They was being disrespected. They voted their union in. They're well respected now. You know, that's it right there. That's all we want. We want to make an honest living and be respected. I'll give you the same respect you give me, right? And like I said before, I'll give you a little more because I'm going to be on top. I'm going to have that reason why.
If you support your company and you want it to succeed, and you need to tell them that when they start, because they will start asking you questions, okay? You should tell them, I support you and I want you to succeed, but I also want to have a voice in this workplace, okay? So